And sorry, my voice is just a bit croaky this morning for whatever reason.
Croaky is perfect for a conversation about amphibians, so that's a good setup.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, that's my dad joke of the day.
I'm pretty sure there'll be more coming
Well,
my way.
If Art is on here alone, we're guaranteed 4 or 5.
Hey, what are you talking about? So we like to start off with just a total softball question that has nothing to do with science. Tell us what your favorite meal is. What's the best meal that you make?
Ooh, the best meal that I make. I really love cooking, and I also have a veggie garden, so I can collect my produce from the garden and cook that. And I love making Thai. Thai would be one of my favourites, and I suppose a duck, lychee, and pineapple red curry made with all fresh ingredients is probably high on the list.
Wow.
But
Sounds fantastic.
I'd also do
when can I fly up? Oh wait, I was supposed to fly up and have that, right?
yeah, no, Thai is pretty high on the list. But you know, I make my own sourdough bread, and sourdough pizzas are becoming a bit of a favourite at home as well. So yeah, it's food's pretty important.
I'm a sourdough aficionado also, and I got my sourdough starter from my cousin Dan, who lives in San Francisco, and he's a real enthusiast, and he's actually submitted a sourdough sample to Rob Dunn and Rob Dunn's project. So Rob Dunn is another guest we talked to about a year and a half ago, and got the metagenome of his sourdough starter, and so and there's like all this sort of comparative biology of sourdough starters in the U.S. now. It's pretty interesting.
So no, I think sourdough's fantastic. I love it.
So, Craig, one other softball, and then we could get going. If you had the opportunity to bring back anyone from any scientist from the past, actually, you know what? Let's do scientists. Anyone from the past, get them up to speed with the sort of modern version of the types of things they need to know, and have a beer with them. What sorts of things do you think they talk about? Who would that be?
I'm a comparative physiologist. It's pretty easy to say who you'd like to call up, and I'd say August Crow would be pretty high on the list. What a remarkable man whose research was really expansive, and I think that's what I was so impressed when I was, I've read his papers, of course. I think we all have. I just think he asked really interesting questions. And, science is all about creativity. People talk about the arts as being creative, but science is equally, if not more, creative. And you think about all the areas that he delved into, including biomedical areas, of course. He must have had a fascinating mind, and I think he would be intrigued with the way the world is going and the way that we are viewing our science, and how comparative physiology, animal physiology, is playing a major role in trying to elucidate some of the big conservation questions.
What do you think this may be too big of a question to ask for a succinct answer, but what do you think his perspective, like how would he implement the Crow principle now? Or what would he think about the general approach that so many biologists take that, really, not obviously keep that in mind when they do their work?
Yeah, I mean the Crow principle, of course, is around picking the ideal species to answer that question. And now that we have, far greater understanding of biodiversity and the really unique and bizarre life forms on the planet, I think there's such a treasure trove of examples that you can ask really fascinating questions. It just depends what question it is. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about, is, knowing your question and then saying, well, this is actually the best animal or the best organism to answer that question. So I don't know. I mean, which animal would he pick?
Yeah, well, that's where I'm going to go too. What would he do next?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.